Hey guys, it's me again, Orc Slayer with X. Where we last left off. Let's see, checking. Where we last left off. Bell, Deku, and Bakugo, along with Weasel, sorta just added Ida, Kirishima, and Kaminari to their ranks. Deku is helping Kirishima and Kaminari learn the ropes of being bouncers, while pretty much Ida is being taught by Bell and Bakugo at the same time. Before that, a police captain got killed. Their faces are still unknown, thank God. And they've pretty much just been, like I said, assimilated. Now, with this whole thing going down, I'll say a few months pass, like 3. Alright? Deku has been teaching Kirishima and Kaminari, and they've had to deal with a few guys trying to get rowdy while they're in the bar. When that happens, Deku's pretty much just says, "Alright, watch this." As he's polite in beginning, trying to put up like a more professional face as the manager wanted him to. As he has put it up, he's like, 3 strikes and you're out, essentially. He's like, "Sir, please calm down." Putting up a face, sort of. Because he'd much rather just grab this dude and throw him out. But this isn't a bar like the neutral ground. This is high class. He's got to be patient. And he doesn't want to screw it up, so, you know. As he teaches them, it's like, by a third time, the guy actually throws a drink at him. As he looks over to the manager just gives him the nod. It's like, "Very well then, sir." As he grabs him, walks him out, and says, "Cool off." As then it's just like, okay, you see how it's done? Now, go stand in your corners. As it's like, okay. As they're starting to watch over, a few more fights break out in this one than it does in neutral grounds. Few people notice who that guy is, Deku, as then those ones who notice him don't cause any trouble, but the ones who do cause trouble get thrown out on their asses. As with Kirishima and Kaminari handling a few of them as well. Kaminari being more timid, in that case, like being almost nervous, but he gets it done either way. Kirishima does it pretty similarly, I don't know, to Deku, as he just throws him out after 3 strikes. The entire night pretty much goes off with very few actual incidents. Sorry, I had to yawn at that moment. Incidents. So with that happening at those times, at the other bar, pretty much Ida is taught pretty much the same lesson by Bell. And Bakugo pretty much has his own way of doing it, but this is a different type of bar, so, you know. That being said, we skip a few more months. They gotten it down pretty well. And they even have like a place for them to stay at. The pretty much Bison is actually charging them to stay up in the upper half. Because he had a few more rooms left up there, so, you know. Never gave you a description of the bar, did I? Neutral ground. Neutral ground is pretty much, imagine a Wild West bar. Essentially just like, make it futuristic, I guess. Bunch of bar stools and everything. The only thing that different is the doors. They aren't like those. They aren't the same type of doors. They got rooms upstairs that people can stay in. It's pretty much an inn. But no one really stays there. But as everyone's dealing with this stuff, Weasel eventually approaches like Bakugo and Bell, telling them he's got a new job coming up. And that he's curious if they'd be willing to do it. As Bakugo says he's up for it, but Bell says, "Yeah, me and Deku have got a thing." It's like, what? It's like, well, see, it's our mom's birthday tomorrow, and we were gonna like go out to like the fancy place in town and actually get her something nice. You know? Like she hasn't really had anything nice in a while, so we were thinking about going to that like one of those in the like upper parts of town to like buy some like nice things for her, you know? As like, oh, okay, well, I could postpone it until, and then Ida approaches, like this is after hours. It's like, hey, what are you gonna be selling? It's just like, oh, just a few more weapons. You wouldn't be interested, trust me. And you wouldn't do anything to us, ex-cop, would you? He's like, I personally may not be, well, like, interested in doing it, but Kirishima and Kaminari may. It's up to them, though. As then, when they all go and, like, meet up back at neutral ground after everything has been closed, Kirishima and Kaminari said they would be actually willing to do it. As then they just sort of, when is it? It's like, sorry. It's tomorrow. It's tomorrow, 6 p.m. He's like, we're still gonna be working at, yeah, I know. You gotta be there at that time. Trust me, I understand. So, that's why I've sort of been able to push it back. I'll be able to try and push it back at like 9. Well, hang on. Yeah, at, I guess, 5. Or just late, just when it's dark out, alright? That's when they should be able to come, if they come at all. That's what she said. And as they, like, think this over, they talk with the manager how they need a bit of time off, just a bit more time to, like, sort some issues out that they had pre-planned at this point. As she's like, oh, I understand. As they set off that night, the deal goes off without a hitch. With the deal, like I said, going off without a hitch, they, how would you say, they get in, get out, and that's pretty much it. They do this routine for a little while, going back and forth. Eventually, like Kirishima and Bakugo sort of start developing somewhat of a friendship. So does Kaminari, I guess. They build it up on the fact that Bakugo is just intimidating. Well, they're all intimidating to some degree. And one time, a guy tried to make a move on Bakugo, and Kirishima pretty much got in, like, back off, buddy. As this almost got the guy to charge at him, as Bakugo then walked forward and then just headbutted him. It's like, As they both, like, give a nod, as they continue to just stand guard and deal with the things that need to be done when Weasel is doing his deals. There we go. Deku and Bell are planning their mother's birthday, you could say. As it comes up, they take her out to a nice place. As they make reservations and everything. They get cleaned up, put on some of their best clothes, and take her out. As then they go to a nice restaurant. I mean a nice restaurant. As they're sitting there eating, I guess, nobody really comes in that causes a mess. She actually says that she has something to tell them. I've been offered a job. They're like, oh, what is it? It's like it would be a manager job. The salary would be much better and quite higher. But what would happen is, as she says, I would have to move off world. And it would go to requiring like a new frontier. Like one of those colonies out on the frontier. Like it would take, I'd have to move there. As they're like, so what about us? And she's like, I know you have jobs here, essentially. Like, you guys have a life here. So if you guys want to stay, and they're like, as they just start talking with each other, like, bro, like, what about, as they start talking, it's like, yeah, we got a few things set up here, but maybe we could go with you. Like, we're not 100%. Like, we want to get out of this shithole. As Deku uses this word, she like language. Sorry. We want to get out of this place probably just as much as the next guy. But we have, like, people here that we care about. She's like, that's why I want to bring it up with you tonight. And he's like, oh. As in, a waiter's like, can I take your order? As it's like, yes, we'll take the... As they start ordering off their food, they talk about it over dinner. Discussing details and such, and whether they could, like, come and join her, or they could go with her immediately, or would they have to wait. They're all talking about this. As then, we cut back over to Bakugo and them. As everything... Well, sorry. They're, like, returning back to the hideout. It's like, man, everything went so well, didn't it? It's like, yeah, you got that right. Can't believe. As then, some people find their hideout. They were tailed by a few suspicious-looking characters. But none of them noticed it. And then it's like, as they like pry open the thing, it's like a group of iron talons. Sorry. No, scratch that. It's not a group of iron talons. It's a group of, like, random thugs who then tried to pillage, quote unquote, by, like, they looked around for a bit and, like, thought this place would, like, house those people that they were wanting to get the jump on. But as they're looking around, they're like, wait a second, there's nobody here. As in Bakugo, Kirishima, and Kaminari pretty much descended upon them and beat them pretty badly. As it's like, who are you? It's like, we're nobody, man. We were just up. You're planning to jump us, is what Bakugo says. As it's like, hey, what do you want done with them? As Weasel's like, take care of them. As Bakugo's like, you mean take care of them, or take care of them? As it's like, first option is what Weasel suggests. Alright. As in, they pretty much just knock them out, drag them somewhere, and just throw them into a bunch of dumpsters. Well, not a dumpster, but a bunch of trash. And a little while later, these guys wake up like, as they're looking around, did we drink too much again? It's like, I don't know, I just got a splitting headache. As they get up and wander back. As the next day, they all meet up at the hideout. Eat on all of them after, like, the thing, that day, like, the bars are closed. Like, during the day, it's pretty much closed. As then they all meet up at the hideout. They talk about how a couple of guys followed him here last night. As like, did they belong to anybody? It's like, no, not from what we could tell. They were just a few random guys. Oh, sorry. That decided to follow us. It's like, so what? So, from now on, I'm going to be locking this place up. There's going to be keys inside. She's like, you weren't doing that beforehand? It's like, well, no. I would like to install a digital lock. But, do you know how to do that, Do you know how to do that, Belle? He's like, yeah. I just need a actual digital lock. I can't make things out of scraps. Like, I know how to control things in, like, data and such, but can't really make anything from scraps. I ain't that good. Like, alright. As then they set up the place and get locked down. As then when they're down there, they start, Belle and Deku tell them the news. So, we may not be here for long. What do you mean? It's like, well, what is that, as then they go on to explain the situation to them, as it's like, oh, well, that's good for you guys, is what Bakugo says. You guys have been wanting to get out of here for a while. Doesn't matter to me. But sure as hell gonna be boring without you. It's like, yeah, well, that's what we were thinking. Like, should we go? We already got a few things going on here. Like, we told her we could possibly eventually join her there once we finish stuff up here. As Weasel's just like, As Kirishima and Kaminari are like, oh, that's unexpected. As Ida states that they should probably try. It would probably be good of them to get out of here. This place is the worst of the worst. A lot of the Krogan gang, especially the Bloody Maws, are no better than thugs. Like, they always talk about Krogan pride and such, but they're just thugs. No offense, Bakugo. He's like, none taken, it's truth. As they're discussing this, Weasel gets something notified. As it's like, what's that? As he's like, give me a second. As he answers it, it's like, it's a voice on the other line. It's like, as he's like, oh, really? That'd be great. As then immediately after that, he's like, well, so something big just came up. You guys know how I like talk about my stock and how I offer it like people would come contact me? Like, no, you've literally never told us how anybody ever contacts you. They're like, oh, well. That was one of my contacts, and he said they're looking to buy up my entire stock of Arsenal, and I have told them that I could probably provide them anything. They want my entire stock, enough to arm like a small, like at least 50 men. And I got a little bit more than that, so it's like, who are they for? It's like, I don't know, a third party contacts me, and then I get to collect the stuff. I tell them, they tell their group, and then eventually we just meet up someplace. It's like, alright, when is this going to take place? Well, the people on the other side are reviewing it, so they're trying to look around at this stuff and make sure it's all good. Sure, they actually have the money. Like, how much are they wanting to pay at the set price? It's like, 90,000 credits. Why didn't you, say yes to it? It's like, well, let's see here. I got a rocket launcher, bins worth, crates worth of assault rifles, and shotguns, and handguns, grenade launchers, combat stems. It's gonna take a little more than just 90,000 to, pay for all that. That's, over, by my guess, 500,000 worth of stuff. That's just, even half of that would probably come from all the armor and all the combat stems. That's not including the weapons and the amount of ammo I have. Like I say, at most, this stuff could probably be worth, close to, I think I said 600,000? Or maybe 500,000? I can't remember exactly. He says exactly, 200, not 200, but around, it's up there 6 digits. There's yeah, maybe even 7 digits, or 7. Yeah, you get what I mean. As yeah, I guess we do, but who's wanting to buy this much? As he's like I said, I don't know. I talked to them a bit, to tell them a bit more about the deal and give my price. We'll haggle on it a bit and see if we can get it down there. Get it up there. I told them to bring at least 1 million. 1 million credits? Yeah. As then when's this taking place? It's taking 6 months well, not 6, but 4 months from now. Inko leaves in 5, is what, he heard, so it's alright, so, as then they start organizing this, where are we gonna meet up, how is this gonna go down? It's well, from what I was able to be told, 600,000, a bunch of combat armor, to outfit 50 men, yeah, I think that's relatively a lot of stuff. Wait, is this not all the stuff you have? He's like, no, this isn't everything I have. He's like, what the hell? I thought this was everything you had. No. I have a few more other, bits and, stashes that I've hid elsewhere. It's and they're wanting your entire stock. It's yes. It's Jesus Christ, how are we going to transport it all? As it's well, as then they discuss the details, alright, we'll rent a truck, load stuff up, and then take it there. or rent a moving vehicle. As then they like gather their stuff, Weasel says it's probably gonna take a little bit for me to rent the thing. As then Izuku and Bell like get back to their home, and they have their weapons and armor like underneath. Like they pretty much took it with them, I'd say. Well, I said beforehand that they stashed it out in the hideaway, hideaway, and then they return home like talking about it. At this point, they've like gotten more weapons. Bell has actually taken a liking to the sniper rifle, or at least the rifle. It doesn't have to be, pretty much a sniper rifle. And he talks, and Bell even says he like practices with it. But same thing goes for Deku. They all practice with weapons essentially. As then they discuss what happens if things go sideways. He's like, hopefully things won't, but in the case it does, in case it does, Bell and Ida, you two are snipers, right? It's like, Ida says, yeah, I got a bit of training. Well, not Ida, but I'll say Kaminari, maybe. Kaminari says, I got a bit of training in marksmanship. That's like, alright, Ida, Kaminari, Bakugo, and Deku will be my main bodyguards up front. You two will be in the back and just be ready to shoot in case anything goes sideways. Try to keep hidden. We're doing this in like the dead of night, like pretty much midnight is when this is happening. As like, serious? It's like, yeah, I'm serious. As then like Deku and like Bell are quiet, like when the time is quickly approaching. Within those 5 months, they like Inko is saying that, yeah, it's almost time for me to leave. I got just another month here before, like, they've confirmed it. If they confirm it, they're like, Mom, you're gonna get the job. Don't worry. As they continuously talk to her about this, it's eventually, like, 8 p.m. Well, yeah, it is 8 p.m. Time to go. As it's, like, saying, it's like, oh, well, sorry, Mom, we gotta go. It's like, where are you guys going? It's like, we got another thing. Don't worry, we'll return home and safe. As then they quickly make their way there. As, like I said, they've done these, like, bodyguard jobs a few times with Weasel as well. So, everyone knows a little bit about this, like, these people in black armor, these bodyguards in black armor. And deals rarely fall through with them, and the only times it does is when a third party screws it up. And the bodyguards always ensure that the employer is protected. And nobody knows who they are. They're just random. There's, as they just say, it's a few, like a Krogan, a few humans, and a few Turians. That's from what we can tell. As then, pretty much they like have rented the moving vehicle. Then they make it out to where they're supposed to meet up. They drop Bell and Kaminari off like a little bit behind, so that way like they just arrive. As then they're dropped off, like Bell and Kaminari have made their way up to there. As they set up their like little sniper's nest, you could say. They arrive early. As then from the other direction, a few ships come in. The ships don't see Kaminari or Bell. As then pretty much Deku, Bakugo, Ida, and Kaminari are waiting on the ground. Guns are at the ready. As they've set up a few things to ensure that things don't fall through. As then, it's the symbol of the Bloody Maws. Bell's like, as he radios in pretty much to Weasel, it's like, we told you no Bloody Maws. It's like, I didn't know who they were. I told you this before. It's like, as several Krogan like drop down and come walking out, as Bakugo's like, oh shit. As he's like, what's up, Bakugo? That's my dad. And my older brother. Remember, Bruco? Something. I think I called him, Bruco. Bakugo, Bruco. Yeah. Bruko, yeah, and he's like, and there's Katsuki. Because I can remember I called Katsuki like one of Bakugo's brothers. As in they're standing there just like, As Bakugo's father comes walking over, is like, so, where is it? As he lets out that, like, somewhat annoyed thing. Bakugo's brother saying, I'm taking care of this old man. As then Bakugo's father hears the term old man, as he pretty much, Bakugo's brother turns his head, as then his father headbutts him, sending him sort of falling to the ground a little bit. He's like, So, show me what, as he like lets out in a voice, show me what you got. As like, oh, yes. As they're just like, come on. As then they pretty much walk over, unloading some of the gear, a few crates. One with combat stems, one with like grenades, one with assault rifles, and one with armor and such. Yeah. As then Weasel starts talking with them about the prices. I heard you are interested in my entire stock. This is everything. Everything in that van could be yours for the low price of 900,000. Stuck my neck out quite a bit to get some of these items. It's like most of this stuff comes from the Golden Lions. At this point, they're pretty much on the edge of almost dead. Besides, it's like, this is Top Gear. Don't try to rip me off. As in Bakugo's father's like, who says about ripping you off? More or less tear you apart. As then Bakugo gets his shotgun and comes in closer, as he's like, oh, look at this. As then he moves closer to Bakugo. Well, ain't this, as he's like, oh, Bakugo. Bakugo's like, shit. As then his dad's like, what are you doing amongst these idiots? As he's like, doing a job. What do you want? As he's like, with more respect, as he tries to like headbutts Bakugo. Bakugo stands firm. It's like, at least you can stand tall when I headbutt you, unlike your older brother there, Bruko. As then he starts walking around looking at the gear. He then starts talking about how Bakugo is kind of a disappointment, and starts to say some pretty bad stuff. But Deku's like, shut your mouth. Either look at the gear or walk. Your choice. As then Bakugo's father hears this, he starts to walk over. So, you got a problem? Like, you came here to do business. Do your business. Otherwise, quit wasting our time. There are plenty of others who would buy from us. As he's like, oh, really? And they're the same ones that are willing to match my price or my offering. It's like, offering? Offering sounds like you're giving it for free. No, it ain't gonna be for free. As then he tries to headbutt Deku, like to try and do the whole showing dominance. As pretty much Deku moves to the side and gives like his father a shove. As he's like, oof, is that supposed to hurt? As he says in a mocking tone. As then he hits Deku, sending him actually kind of like a bit far. Ugh. As he stands back up on his feet, he's like, oh, looks like you got some fight. As he's about to charge in, Deku decides to kneecap him. Well, not kneecap him, but like kick him, like causing him to trip. As he's like, you there, are you the one actually talking about buying from us? If so, make it quick. I'd rather not kill your old man. As he's like, like you could. Anyways, as in Bakugo's father pretty much runs over, picking up Deku and then throwing him over. As Deku like rolls and then tries to recover, his father comes swinging in, his leg kicking Deku in the face as it's like, oh, grabbing onto his face. His dad has Bakugo's father has his helmet down. He's like, thought you could do that without any punishment. As he just starts kicking Deku and stomping on him. Deku's like, ugh. He's like, nobody talks that way to one of the bloody maws. As then he kicks him a few more times. As then Bell's like lining up the shot. As he actually pulls out his gun and is about to fire, as then they just hear a bang ring out. As it's like, what the? As then straight through the eye, right through the back of the head, with the body like standing there for a second, as then it just falls over. Falling over with the bullet wound in his eye, Deku's like, ugh, as he grabs his gun, as everyone's like starts pulling out their own guns. Same thing with Bakugo's brother, as in another shot is heard out, then another and another, till eventually it's a full-blown firefight. Deku's like, load up the stuff. As then they start loading up the weapons like back in, Deku's like, hang on a second. He rushes over, grabs like one of the things. It's like, here, take these. As he tosses them over to everyone, it's like, what are these? It's like, they're grenades. Throw them. As they start tossing them, they start lighting up like the other side. With Bell and Kaminari, like Kaminari and Bell are actually going through ammo pretty quickly. As it's like, that's another one, another one, another one. As they just keep on picking them off. Bakugo, the Krogan among the teams and such are trying to rush forward, as then they just pretty much get gunned down by like these like more, I guess, elite quote unquote team. As they deal with them, Bakugo even charges one and like pretty much tackles him over and then shoots him in the face with a shotgun. Yeah, as then they like see the like eventually everyone there is just dead. They even shot the person trying to take off, and like, well, Kaminari and Kirishima, but Bell did, took the people outside, like out in like the steering seats. As it's like, oh, this is bad. As they make their way over and check out like the things, no one got out. This was a complete massacre. In the sense, like, there's explosions everywhere and everything, and then they're just like, oh, well, shit. As they're looking over, they look around, and they find cases. And it's, like, actual, like, large, entire crates of credits. As they're like, well. As everyone's looking over this, they're like, hey, Bakugo, go grab, well, not Bakugo, but it's like, hey, Ida, go grab Kaminari and Bell. Tell them to get down here. As they're like unloading the crates and such. It's just like, man, they really did come with everything. So your father would have, as Bakugo was like, sorry Bakugo about your dad and your brothers. It's like, don't be. They're a bunch of pyjacks anyway. Man, my throat is dry. As then they continue talk about this, as in it's like, whatever his name was. I never came up with the name, did I? They just like say his name, or actually they say, Bruco, you in? You there? Bruco. Come on, everyone's waiting back here. Get us those guns. Well, not get us those guns, but did you kill those mercs already? We've been waiting here for ages. As they're like, ooh. They were planning on killing us the entire time? No way. No way that's possible. Why else would they come with credits? It's like, it's a good thing you robbed those things earlier. Like, remember that bank truck we hit earlier? It's a good, well, not bank truck, but pretty much you get the meaning. As like, can't believe. Do you think they would actually fall for that? Anyways, talk to you later. We got a few things to do here. As they like click off the thing. As it's like, okay, we need to get off planet. Like, we need to get off this planet. It's like, well, what are we gonna do? It's like, sorry. As they discuss, it's like, we gotta get off planet. There's gotta be some way to get off here. Like, there's no way that we aren't just gonna, just take off the armor and like hide away for a long time. Bakugo says, yeah, he's right. My father was a high-ranking member. Probably gonna question me than anyone else who's associated with me. Because they know I've said before 1,000 times, I would kill my father if I had the chance. And now he's actually dead. During an arms deal that was prepared to be a trap. As then everything just, they're like, alright. We'll get out of here immediately. There's still planes and stuff taking off, and I've been keeping my ear to the ground just in case this snake ever came up. This company's looking for more hired muscle, you could say, on some of their ships. Don't want anything to deal with the mercenary groups, they just want freelancers. Because they can get freelancers to abide by their roles, typically. It's like, and they prefer to have at least 7 people, like an extra 7, to like come on board for these freelancer groups. As it's like, wait, what do you mean? Like, I mean they're looking for 7 freelancers, typically. Like, it's a perfect number for them, apparently. Plus their guard detail, so, As they're talking, it's just like, alright, pack up the truck, ditch the weapons. Wait, what about the weapons? It's like, we'll ditch the weapons here, alright? It's no harm, no foul. As it's like, alright, ditch them. Nobody touch them without anything, so that way they can't trace you, right? As it's like, so you guys didn't ditch. Oh my god. As in, like, there's pretty much Bell shaking his head at this. It's like, alright, we'll take all this and we'll just hide it in the hideout. Maybe some people will come across it, maybe some won't, who knows. This is all a bunch of Golden Lion stuff anyway. We haven't just unmarked it, right? It's like, yeah, you got a point there, you got a point. As in, everyone gathers up their gear and such. Bakugo is like, ugh. As he's looking at his father and his brother, he's like, So he gives like a little grunt as it's like, okay, Bakugo? It's like, yeah, let's go. Oh, my throat is dry as heck. Kill me. As then they continue forward with this little plan, you could say, as they make their way to the plane station, or the shipyard, you could say. As pretty much Weasel swung by and told his brother, we gotta get out of Dodge. As he pretty much like pack everything, we messed up big time. As then they like get everything packed up and ready to go. Neutral ground is abandoned. Bell and Deku pretty much bust into their house as like, Mom, as they like bang on her door, like bang, 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 like really loudly on the door. It's like, hey, Mom, you need to get up. You need to get up. It's like, what's going on? She's like, all right, listen. We messed up. We played with the big guys. Well, a friend of our employer played with some people larger than himself and pretty much killed a major gang leader. We need to go. She's like, wait, what? It's like, where are we going? We're actually going to the place you were offering that managership from. We got plenty of money. We got plenty of stuff. We can make it there. Stay there for enough time until you get transferred there. Has it become official? She's like, yeah, later, like after you guys left, they sent me the official. Like, I need to be there within a month to assume my role as their manager. And so it's like, alright. Wait, what would you be managing exactly? It's just a factory where we prepare mechs and such, that sort of stuff. As it's like, okay. Okay. We'll get our stuff ready, get everything packed up. It's like we're never here. They start packing up their stuff, clothes, money, extra weapons that they had. Inko's packing up her stuff, all neatly and such, as like, they all have duffel bags. Well, Kirishima and Bell, they all pretty much come on board and they're like, alright, we're in our armor. They're in their armor, and they're actually, Weasel called ahead of time to like talk with his contacts, like, they're still willing? It's like, yeah, we were actually like looking to get another guys in tomorrow. like, the ship's prepped to go, we just need, like, more staff. And it's like, yeah, we're gonna be there in, like, say, 2 hours. It's like, 2 hours? You sure you guys can handle? As they're like, yep, as, like, we're getting there now, as they're driving a giant cargo truck. As it's like, yeah, we got a bit of cargo on our own. Do you think you guys wouldn't mind holding this stuff? As it's like, sure. Just needs to go. Hey, as a favor to me, how about you just let this slide? As it's like, well, I guess it would make sense. Like, it's a bunch of gear in there, like extras and such, you know. Stuff like, Weasel, I know what you get up to. Make sure this shit won't have our asses turned to grass, alright? As it's like, trust me, it won't. Trust me. Let's just get out of here, as Weasel is very scared, as they all make their way on board. As the captain of the ship is notified, excuse me, sir, there is, the freelancers that the company requested have arrived. It's like, oh, well, add them to the detail then. What are their names? They don't have a name, sir. As, like, here's what they look like, as it's just a bunch of like, they don't see their faces, just a bunch of masked, like, black, like, highly black armor, almost to a point of being polished, with decent looking gear. Like, I would like to meet with them. As like, alright, sir, and they've brought their own cargo that they've asked to keep private. That's, like, reasonable enough, and they've brought along, 2 civilians are said to be their managers, quote unquote. They like deal with logistics and such, and deal with transfer of money. That's like, alright, I guess that makes sense. Well, it's like Bison is the one that's represented as the figure of, like, their representative, manager, whatever. Weasel's sort of like their intel guy and blah, 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 blah. As they're like, alright, we'll meet them soon enough. Get them escorted to their cabins. Get the civilians, at least. I want to meet these freelancers. As then, during that time, there's a girl with biotics, using her biotics to lift up cargo, like heavy containers, and move them into places so that way they can be stored. It's like, good job, Uraraka. As they, like, see, it's like, oh, scratch that, Uraraka, we got another thing for you to move. As she's like, oh. As it's like, oh, don't worry, you'll be fine. As she lifts it up and puts it on a thing. It's like, so, as it's, like, announced on the thing, attention cargo hold members, you currently have 7 freelancers. Well, hang on. Bakugo, yeah, 7, yep. You currently have 7 freelancers checking on their cargo. Please wait until they have ensured that it's secure before you put it up. It's like, thank you. As then, they all just see a Krogan, 3 Turians, and 3 humans walking towards them in, like, nice looking armor. As they're overlooking their gear. Is it all clear, Weasel? As it's like, yeah, everything's here. Like, and trying to act professional, even though they're scared. At least Weasel is. As it's like, alright. As they, like, seal it up with a lock and everything, keys. Like, alright. As then, it's like, you can put it up. As Uraraka's like, okay. As then she uses her power and sets it up. It's like, why are they using a biotic instead of just, like, you know, gear? It's like, it's a lot cheaper. It's a lot easier to use me instead, because using those giant cranes takes a lot of the power. Uses a lot of power just to use some of those giant cranes. Especially since this is a very small ship. It's like, we only do, like, a few things like, at least like a few dozen things of cargo. Your thing is like an extra that we always keep in place, so, you know. It's like, alright, well, everything's in there safe and it won't explode, just so you guys know. As they say that as they're leaving. As they all make their way to the captain's deck, as it's like, hello, I'm Captain... Sorry? Oh, ooh. That's a weird sneeze. That hurts. Captain, just call me Captain. Alright, Captain is like, you have been added to the roster as part of the guard detail. Now, do you have any special skills that we need to know of? As they all just look around at one another, it's just like, you do have special skills, right? As they're like, well, we're pretty good when it comes to close quarters combat. And we got 2 marksmen, is the word they use with us, and 3 ex-military. As the ex-military. Well, this is fantastic news then. Then you already know some protocols for other things like pirates boarding a ship or things like that, you know? As oh, we are very well aware, sir. Do not worry, we'll be able to handle whatever comes at us. It's like, very well then. You shall be escorted to your cabins, and I will have duties for you in the morning. It's like, very well, sir, and have a great day. Ida's the one speaking right now, because he's the only one who knows what talk with a captain or something of any sort of degree. It's like, very well. As they give a salute, it's like, no, as they all give their own salute, sort of. Like, well, by the way, since you are a team, may we know your, may we get your own, can we give you, can you give us the name of your mercenary company? It's like, we are mainly freelance, as they explained that we don't really have a company, it's just the 7 of us. It's like, alright, what's the name of your mercenary group? We are the Onyx Centurions, Sentries, not Centurions. The Onyx Sentries. That's like, very good name, very good, I like it. As he signs it, as he gets it fully registered, Onyx Sentries, 3 Turians, 3 ex-military, 3 Turians, 2 several close quarters combat specialists, 1 Krogan, and do any of you have bionics of any sort? As Kaminari says, I have a little bit, and so does Kirishima, as it's like, very well. And what are they? Defensive, alright, and you have, I think it was tech where he gets, nope, yeah, bionics, where he's like, I can use slam and pull. It's like, very well. And we have signed this off, and thank you for your help, and we'll be sure to contact you if anything needs sorted out. It's like, thank you, sir, as they all leave officially. It's like, Onyx Sentries have been assigned to cargo duty. It's like, cargo duty, you sure? It's like, we get a few stowaways every now and then. They'll sort them out. It's like, alright then, sir. As everyone's like, oh, thank God. As they're all taking a breather, like, we could have died there, you know that, right? It's like, I know. But we didn't, so that's good news, right? It's like, yeah, you got a point. Anyways, as they're like, let's all catch some shut-eye. We got some work tomorrow. It's just like, I thought you'd never ask. As then they all fall asleep. As they're like, Inko, Mom, we'll explain everything to you later. And she's like, okay. As they all just sleep. And that is where I'm going to be cutting this off at. I hope you all have enjoyed this. Hope you all continue to enjoy this. And I hope you all have a nice day, nice night, nice life.